a very important collection of Himalayan art, which really doesn't get enough attention, is what formerly used to be the Essen collection, but it's now the Museum of Culture in Basel, Switzerland. The collection, when it was under Essen, it was, I believe, in Munich, Germany. And then it was acquired by the Museum of Culture in Switzerland. Now, this is a very large collection, and it is primarily Tibetan, with fewer pieces that are Nepalese or Chinese or Mongolian. It's primarily Tibetan, and it's very large in terms of maybe approaching 500 paintings and over 500 sculpture and ritual objects. We have done a little bit of work in terms of selecting masterwork. So we do have a painting section and a sculpture section, but a lot more work needs to be done on it. Now, there are 2 volumes in German that discuss this collection. These are published, I think, by Essen back in the 90s, and the prime scholar on the project was, I believe it was Ngari Tulku, Ngari Rinpoche, who was of one of the 2 Tulkus of Dzongzar Monastery. And so Ngari Rinpoche, I believe, was the main informant. And so the text is really very good if you can read German. Now, there's 1 or 2 suspect pieces, but there's suspect art in all museum collections around the world. That's just normal. But what would we say the strengths are? Well, I don't think we can say that there's sculpture over painting or painting over sculpture. Both are really very good. And with the painting examples, especially in the masterworks, we have some that are best of subject in the world. We have some that are selected already, rare forms or best or earliest best condition. And we also have some paintings in the Essen collection, Museum of Culture collection, that belong to the same sets as the Rubin Museum of Art and MFA Boston and other museums around the world. So in a way, they're like sister museums because they all have pieces that relate to each other. Now, what a lot of people really have probably never heard of is that this Essen collection nearly became part of the Rubin collection and the Rubin Museum collection. Back in the 1990s, Don Rubin looked at acquiring this very large collection when it became available on the market. It was looking for a new home. But Don Rubin thought that the collection was just a little bit too large at that time for him to handle, being well over 1,000 pieces. And so what his idea was to purchase the collection and then sell off some of the pieces and keep the ones that he preferred. But unfortunately, the seller, the owner of the Essen collection, didn't like that idea, wanted to keep the collection together as a whole, and therefore opted to decline the offer of purchase, and then a very, very wealthy donor in Basel, Switzerland, stepped up and offered to buy the collection for the Museum of Culture. So that's it. That's why the collection ended up in Switzerland and not in New York. So we'll leave it there. The collection is worth looking at. Most of it is documented on the HAR website. And we do have, as I mentioned, we have a painting and a sculpture masterworks page for this. And more work will be done in the future. There's just too many, there's many good pieces. So when you have very good pieces, it always takes longer, it takes more time. So we'll leave it there. You can press the like button, you can subscribe, you can join HAR on Patreon, and you can make a donation on the homepage of Himalayan Art Resources.